This is the third assignment for the 7th quiz on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing polynomials. And this is something you probably have not seen. And I'm going to show you two techniques. The first is going to be simply called long division. And long division, what's nice about it is it always works. It's the harder of the two techniques, but again, it always works. So it is what you think. We're going to set up this with a divisor and a dividend. So the dividend is m squared minus 7m minus 11, and the divisor is m minus 8. And now we are going to do long division, come up with the remainder, and that's going to be the answer. Again, long division always works. Synthetic division, which is the easier, far easier of the two techniques, is only going to work when the coefficient on the divisor is m minus 8, when the coefficient on that, we'll say the highest power there is 1, or better yet, when we solve this equal to 0, we get an integer, I guess is a better way to say that. So when isn't it very good? It doesn't work very well down here on number 9. That's a long division problem for sure. So we want, we want to be dividing by things that have a coefficient of 1 on, the highest powered term, we'll say for sure. When we solve that equal to 0, that divisor equal to 0, do we get a nice integer answer? So almost all of these you actually can use synthetic division on, which is a really simple thing. So I'm going to emphasize that, but I'm going to show you long division. So long division is what you think. M into m squared goes m times. So you think about m times what is m squared. And then you just do a little aside here and do the product. M times m minus 8 is m squared minus 8m. We're going to write it underneath here. We're going to draw the line, and we're going to change the sign and add. Draw the line, change the sign, and add. And then we're going to bring down. So m times what is 1m? That's just 1. And then over here, we're going to do this product again. So 1m minus 8, and we're going to write that down underneath this. And we're going to draw the line, and we're going to change the sign, and we're going to add. Now what's really cool is when you get 0 for a remainder, but we get negative 3 for a remainder. So we write that like this, plus negative 3 over m minus 8. All right, let's do one of these where we actually have to do long division. And that's this one because of the 2. When you solve that divisor equal to 0, it doesn't give you a nice integer. So we have to use long division. So I want to come down here and do this on this problem. And then I'm going to switch to synthetic division over and over and over and over. And it's really quick and it's really easy. So 2x into 2x squared, that goes x times. So we're going to step aside over here and do this product. Just going to write it down. So 2x squared plus 3x, and I'm going to write it under here. I'm going to draw the line, and I'm going to change the sign. That rhymes. I'm going to draw the line, I'm going to change the sign. So negative 20x minus 38. So 2 into negative 20 goes minus 10 times. So now I'm going to come over here. And do the negative 10 times 2x plus 3. I just drew a blank for a second there. So whatever you put up here, that's got to get multiplied by. So that's negative 20x minus 30. So I'm going to draw the line. I'm going to change the sign. So notice how that first part always drops out. So we have a remainder of negative 8. And that goes over 2x plus 3. So just make sure that you do this multiplying out correctly. And if you want to do them all along division, you're safe all the time. I like things that always work. I absolutely like things that always work. And long division always works. But there's this thing called synthetic dividing. And I'm actually going to start on 6. And this would apply to long division too. So you're going to take what I'm going to tell you here about this when I write it down applies to long division. You're going to take the divisor and you're going to set it equal to 0 and solve. So you get 5. And it's got to be a nice integer for this to work. Now look what I did here. I wrote down the coefficients of this dividend. So 1, 0, negative 28. There's no a term, so that's a 0. That would also hold, if it was, we were doing this, it would be 2x squared plus 0x. You'd have to put a 0x in there, so that also holds. Now notice that I put, backwards L here with the 5, and its opposite, what makes it 0, then 1, 0. And here's what you do. You drop this number down, you multiply, 5 times 1, you add. Multiply and add. So there's your answer with so you would start, this is your remainder, this last number. That's a number, and this gets the a. So your answer is a plus 5 plus negative 3 over a minus 5. Now you're going to probably have to see a few of these before you get this. But once you get this, it's really, really, really very simple to do. Let's do problem 20. We can't do 20. Let's do problem 19. So we've got 4. We got 1, 5, negative 32, negative 7. All powers are represented. In other words, it starts with cube, squared, x, and the number. Drop it down, multiply, add, multiply, add, multiply, add. So now you just go left to right. So you actually go 3 in, remainder, number. So this is the x term, this is the x squared. So if you literally wanted, I suppose that's probably not a wise thing to do here, but it's x squared plus 9x plus 4 plus 9 over x minus 4. Make sure you write it over that right there when you do it. I'll say it again, make sure you write it over that when you put the remainder. But you just go left to right. The first two, that's a remainder, that's the constant x squared. If you had more, turns out your x to the third, x to the fourth. Synthetic division becomes very, very simple whenever you can use it. I would go long division on this one. But you should do most of these because this is new to you. So 5 out here would be, make sure you go opposite. That's the thing. You get, so that gets set equal to 0 when you solve. So 1, negative 10, 20, and 26. This is just like a shorthand way of, oh, darn it, we didn't get a remainder of 0. A shorthand way of doing these and getting a quick answer. So p squared minus 5p minus 5 plus 1 over p minus 5. And again, make sure you take that right there for that denominator. Okay, and that's how you synthetically divide or long divide, whichever you choose to do. There's cases where you should not use long division. I'm sorry, there's cases where you should not use synthetic division. So here's a case right here. Long division is the best. But whenever you can synthetically divide, you should. And on the practice quizzes, I'll be sure to highlight that. Will you ever get remainders of 0? The answer to that is yes, and on your practice quizzes, there's actually a couple of those. So the division works perfectly with no remainder.